Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and weight maintenance. Today we're going to talk about the half marathon or full marathon trap that some overweight people fall into and why this is a trap and how to avoid it. Now before I begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my books, my website, 100 Pounds Off for 30 plus years. There's hundreds of articles and recipes. And lastly, if you appreciate my content, there's a link for PayPal. Now, in general, we have a playlist here on fitness tips, fitness biohacks for those who want to lose weight. But I did want to do a quick video on the half marathon, the full marathon training, because I think it is emblematic of a certain segment of the population in one of the perils of signing up or doing one of these things in the hope that you're going to get in shape, but where in the long term it really doesn't lead to any weight loss. And so let me delineate a sketch. And of course, not everybody's like this. There's going to be people that have been in shape. Let's say they did cross country in high school, and then they've always been running several miles. And they're 25. They're like, hey, I've always been running 6-7 miles. Maybe I want to do a 13 mile, or maybe I want to run a marathon, and they do it. So I'm not really talking about the people who have always been in good cardio health. I'm talking about people who are out of shape and then they decide to do the half marathon or even the full marathon. Now, before we talk about that, I would tell you, and I've mentioned this before, I think maybe it's on the episode where I've talked about how I've cardioed around the circumference of the earth twice, that I am not a big proponent of marathon running and ultra marathon running. I think that it is exceedingly taxing on the heart, and it's exceedingly taxing on the endocrine system, on the hormones, so to speak. And it's not because I can tell you, oh, this guy was an ultra marathoner and he dropped dead in a marathon, because these are typically outliers. But there are objective studies out there that would indicate that, hey, running 15 miles a day every day, or think of biathletes, doing all this extensive cardio exercise every day is not, in fact, good for your overall heart health. And of course, we can do the most anecdotal example of this is where the term marathon comes from Greek history, the Battle of Marathon, where the Greeks rallied together and beat the preponderant Persian forces at the plain of Marathon. And then a runner was sent to notify, I think it was the king of Sparta, not Athens, maybe it was Athens. And he ran as fast as he could. And the distance from the Battle of Marathon, I think it was to Athens, was 26.2 miles. He gets to the king, he yells out Nike, and then he drops dead. He yells out Nike, which means victory. So I'm not telling you not to run marathons because of that one story, which could be apocryphal. The issue with it is so let me delineate the sketch. You have somebody who's overweight, maybe 10, 20, 30 pounds overweight, and then they decide, maybe at the behest of a friend or a family member, let's do a half marathon. And then so they're like, okay, and then they start. Maybe they are little cardio health. Maybe they can run a mile. Maybe they can run 2. And so they start doing it. And of course, they're going to feel better. And typically, if you're feeling better, you're going to start changing your diet because you're feeling better. And then they're getting to this goal. There's a goal in sight. There's a visible goal of doing this half marathon. And so they get to this goal, and maybe let's say they're able to trudge along and do a 13.1 mile run. And concomitant to that, they're able to lose some weight. The issue with the half marathon goal is the same kind of issue I talk about with New Year's resolutions. And it's the same topic I talk about, the same kind of concept I talk about with there's a hole in the boat and you think the most effective thing is just get the bucket and be paling water out of the boat, not addressing the hole. And that's the problem, is that the reason why the large majority of people who are overweight stay overweight, and then even those who do lose a lot of weight regain it, is because they're not dealing with the disordered relationship they have with food that typically stems from their childhood. They're never dealing with the root cause. And so people who do kind of this goal, and there are very goal-oriented people. Like if you tell a person, work out every day, fast, try to eat well, some people can't, that's too nebulous for them. They're like, you need to tell me I need to be this weight at this time, or I need to be this weight at this goal, and then they have a goal, so they're goal-oriented. I'm not necessarily like that. I'm more of the former group where it's just 1,000 little steps every day leads to weight maintenance. We have a video on that. But some people are goal-oriented. The issue with the half marathon or the marathon person is once the goal is accomplished, then it's like, now what? Now, yeah, they've lost weight. Maybe they are in better shape. but they lack a rudder in their boat. They lack a goal. And so lots of times once you've reached this goal, then you're like, and then you go back to your bad eating, or you go back to not exercising and not working out. And next thing you know, 4 months later, you're back to where you were before. And so I'm not necessarily saying that you shouldn't do a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon. I would tell you not to do marathons and certainly not do ultra marathons. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do these things. I'm telling you that you have to look at your background. You have to look at your relationship with food and some other factors to determine if this is going to be good for you in the long run. And if you have a history of yo-yo dieting, you have a history of having a disordered relationship with food, which I would say the large majority of people who are overweight do, then understand that the half marathon really isn't going to fix anything. It's going to be a stopgap approach, and then eventually you're going to go back to what you were before. So the goal, like a lot of these videos, is do the deep work. Figure out what happened in your childhood that led to your disordered relationship with food, because a 4-year-old, again, I mention this all the time, you put a bowl of food in front of them, they're just going to eat so they're not hungry. You don't have that. I didn't have that for a long time. Why not? Now we need to get to the point where we disconnect emotion from food and we just look at food as what it is. Nurturance. Okay, it's not there to nurturance of your body, I should say, maintenance of your body. It's not there to nurture your feelings or cultivate your emotions or anything like that. And so that's what you got to do, is you got to get to the core, whether it be through therapy or going to Overeaters Anonymous or whatever it is. That is the goal. That is the key. And once you get to that and you no longer have a disordered relationship with food, then you're going to have success with long-term weight loss and long-term weight maintenance. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.